Like, yeah, like you eat this all the fucking time. Lies!
I said I didn't. All right, so I thought I'd use today as an opportunity to get our shit together and meal prep together, because I've been really disorganized lately and quite complacent with my build phase. So we're just gonna hang out, we're gonna meal prep, and yeah. So as of lately with this build phase, I've been building for about 16 weeks now. It is actually my first ever structured build phase. Embarrassingly enough, I'm a coach, so it shouldn't be like this, but you know, you will see your most positive body comp changes ever if you go from a lean point. I'm talking like for females, probably 15%, and males like 8 to 10%, and then you slowly reverse diet out of that, titrating up your carbohydrates. You look so good. I'm using Soul Greens just because I find it really hard to like force myself to eat veggies in the winter months. I don't know why, yeah. So we're adding to our micro intake and having some Soul Greens. In Australia, we have kangaroo and wallaby meat, which I know might seem so weird, but I'm a huge advocate of kangaroo because it's free range, you know, hormone free, and it tastes great. You just have to know how to cook it right. And it's very high in iron and super lean. Like I'm talking leaner than chicken breasts. So we've got kangaroo steaks, garlic and herb marinated. We've got kanga bangets as well. You can use like chicken breast or whatever you like, but I'm gonna use kangaroo today. So I've literally eaten kangaroo for probably a year straight now, like every day. I just find it so easy. And the sausages, like they have 10 grams of protein per sausage and almost no fat and only 60 calories per sausage. And they taste exactly like cocktail franks. I know some people will say this is super weird, but Jacob and I love to eat sardines. This is like such an incredible superfood. It's really high in omega-3s. This has about 2 grams of omega-3 and really high in calcium. Super underrated superfood, if you ask me. Fuck your kale, this is the new superfood. So we're gonna get some of those and some eggs we're gonna make for the start of the day. So this week, definitely the biggest priority has been just getting sleep. Because when I'm stressed out, I panic a little bit and I wake up with insomnia a little bit at night. So I think it's so important to have like a set wind down routine that you have in the evening. Because I notice whenever I deviate from that wind down routine, like even if I go to bed at like 10 p.m. and I am on my phone, I will be thinking about social media and what's going on, like what I've just watched for the whole night if I don't stick to my wind down routine. I burnt these to the shit house. That looks so gross. That is so dry. I often do this thing where I'll like put food in the air fryer or the oven and I'll just forget about it and walk off. And that's what evidently happened with these. They've turned into beef jerky, so gross. I really do love using air fryers, but they're so hard to clean. That's the only off-putting part from them. Other than that, air fryers make your food so nice. So I'm taking these kangaroo burgers. They have about 20 grams of protein each in them. I'm placing them in here. What I like to do for my protein is I'll make a big batch of it and I'll refrigerate it. And that way I can just pick it as I go. Now, if you do have a busier schedule that doesn't allow you to kind of just pick from the fridge as you go, you might want to like portion them out into separate containers. For me, I just like to save containers. So I find what works is cooking a big batch of like veg and then potatoes or whatever carb source and then your protein and having them separate. But yeah, if you have a busy job, you probably want to put them in separate containers. Now, I know some people are like really hardcore and they like to meal prep for like a week in advance. I personally prefer freshness. So I'll only meal prep kind of 4 days ahead of time and no further than that. I just find it gets like a little bit gross and stale if you prep any more than 4 meals in advance. Look at that. This is fucking amazing. So I know some people love tracking macros and others love meal plans. And I don't think there is one right way, whatever kind of works for you. But personally, like, I love a meal plan because it just really eliminates the overwhelm and tracking fatigue. That is the biggest thing, eliminating tracking fatigue, because as someone with ADHD, the overwhelm you experience on a daily basis on top of like having to track your macros can be really a lot. So I like to have a meal plan, but then I'll adjust it weekly if certain foods aren't working. That for me is just like the best structure I find. But it is really important that your nutrition allows for some degree of flexibility and it's not too rigid, because I find, you know, when you're super rigid and if you're told you can never eat chocolate again, then you're going to want it even more. But 98% probably of the time, my nutrition is foods that makes me feel good and perform well. And then Jacob and I might go out for a meal once a week. And you know, that is a happy medium, I find. But for you, it might, you know, you might want a bit of chocolate every day, and that's fine. Like, everyone's different. All right, so now we've got our potatoes. I'm gonna tip them out. There we go. There's something so wholesome about just like potatoes and meat. I usually salt these and put some ketchup on them, and they're so good. You can also use chicken salt. And by the way, I don't eat like this all the time. Like, I'm not this like clean freak. This is like probably 70-80% of my nutrition most of the time. Again, I'm not perfect. As of lately, it hasn't been as regimented as I would like it to be. You don't need to meal prep, but it will help keep you so organized. Like, it doesn't have to be boiled chicken and broccoli. It can be stuff, and it should be stuff that actually tastes good, because then you're actually going to adhere to it. But yeah, like, if you're used to eating fucking potato chips and lollies, it's going to make you feel a lot better. It's not like you can't have them. You can just fit your macros. But I don't think most people actually realize the difference that it makes swapping to a nutritious whole food diet. One thing I've been obsessed with at the moment is avocado on top of Kangaroo burgers. That is so good. I have this for breakfast most days, or I have sardines or eggs. I do like to front load my fats in my day, just so at the start of the day, my cognition is typically at its highest. I'll have like a bulletproof coffee with some eggs, and then I will like study or do fasted cardio and do some client work. And then I'll have my first carb meal of the day, which is my pre-gym meal. And then from there, like after that, most of my daily carbohydrates are placed around my meal. Sorry, my gym workout. So about 60% of carbs for my day will be post-workouts. And then the rest will be kind of pre-workouts. Yeah. All right, so we've got our potatoes, we've got our meats, and now we're going to do some veggies. I've eaten fuck all today, so I need to eat, because then otherwise I'm gonna go catabolic and die. You know when you like feel your muscle breaking down? I prefer to eat around 4 to 5 meals a day, just to optimize muscle protein synthesis. As far as fat sources go, you can't go wrong with avocado. Eggs are very rich in many micronutrients. If you think about it, it's everything a baby, like a chicken, would need to grow is in an egg. So high in nutrients, you can't go wrong with eggs. Please don't drink them raw though. So this week I've been taking training a little bit easier. I am on the back end of a cold, hence my voice. So what I've been doing is just kind of reducing my compounds to 1 set instead of 2, because they're typically going to be the most systemically fatiguing exercises that can create like prolonged inflammation, I guess. So just sticking to a few isolations instead of compounds. And the main thing when you're sick is just like listening to your body. And like if you're sick kind of from the head down, then probably don't train, give it a miss. You are going to come back stronger next time if you do. Mentally, I just fucking love the gym. I find it so hard to take a day off. But you know, if you've obviously got a fever, like don't train. But if it's just a mild head cold, I think it's okay.
Like, yeah, like you eat this all the fucking time. Lies.
I said I didn't. By the way, I don't eat like this all the time, but I do have a base.
No, you do. You do.
I don't eat that much like an
No,
asshole.
you don't. You really don't. Oh, the only difference thing you have is yogurt and pho and
Penis.
sardines. You got sardines there. That's pretty much it, really. What's this?
It's my camera. We'll open up tonight. Look at those mussels. What would you say has been your biggest like paradigm shift around nutrition?
In what regard? Compared to when?
Like a year ago, you used to eat like crap.
Just probably the individual food tolerances and causes of inflammation, you know, the digestibility, your ability to assimilate and consistently assimilate.
Can you speak English?
Being able to absorb what you eat
Yeah.
and being able to digest what you eat.
Yeah. So it's not just like how much you eat. Like you can be eating 3,000. Someone can be boasting about how many calories they're eating, but like if you don't have adequate gut health, if the foods you're eating are like low quality or you're inflamed, you won't actually be absorbing most. Like you won't be turning most of that food into energy. It'll just be passing. You'll just be fucking shitting it out. So that's what we mean by
Also, or creating, you know, oxidative stress or, you know, any kind of chronic stress in your body, which is going to cause negative changes to your body composition.
yeah, which is it is inflammation.
Pardon?
You mean inflammation? So like
Yeah.
like a shit diet. You know, lots of processed foods or inflammatory omega-6s. Like obviously it's about the ratios of your omega-3s to omega-6s. Telling people to like completely cut them out isn't a good idea, but most people just don't get enough omega-3s, which are very anti-inflammatory. They're also really great for brain health. So what we actually do to get in our omega-3s is sardines. They're like I fucking hate mackerel. I hate mackerel. The other day, I come into the shed and he's sitting at his desk and he's got weenie there and he's like, where'd my mackerel go?
No, that's not what happened.
What happened?
I went back into my room after we were talking in the kitchen and my mackerel was empty and you had weenie in your office and I came in and said, I think the cat ate my ate my mackerel, and you're like, oh no, Weenie's breath smells like mackerel, and she had a big pot-belly tummy full of my fish.
So another hack in the mornings, if you don't have time for a good brekkie, boil yourself some eggs full of nutrients, ready to go, super bioavailable protein source. Yeah, and you can pair them with salsa, and it's fucking lit. Tastes so good. Eggs with salsa. You could get a punnet of blueberries. Personally, like, if you're dieting and you have like a protein shake for breakfast, that is not going to be super filling, but it's better than nothing. It's context dependent. Magnesium is definitely a supplement that most of us are
definitely a supplement.
If you fucking go to the gym, you should be taking magnesium basically.
And be complex.
Yeah, not just for mussels, but.
Well, because if you deplete your B vitamins, you're going to be fucking run out of energy throughout the day.
So for my veggies, I've just made some broccolini and some green beans. There's nothing fucking magical about broccoli. I just like the way it tastes and it's rich in B vitamins. As for intra-workout, I bought a bunch of these. They are super convenient. Biggest life hack ever. Carry these in your gym bag. They are Endurogel sachets and they have about 26 grams of carbs. And actually fuck all sodium, but really good to carry in your gym bag as some instant carbs. These are so good during your workout. The most fucked up thing I saw an influencer say this week was, I've literally seen people getting obese from eating avocado toast. Most likely it was not the avocado. I'd say it was the rest of the shit in the diet. Avocados are really filling. And I know a calorie is a calorie. And obviously it's very easy to go over on fats, even if they're healthy calories. But most likely that person was not getting obese from the avocado. It was all the rest of the garbage in the diet.
What are you fucking barking at me for? Huh?
All right, so that is pretty much everything. And I'm just gonna make some cream of rice. I did try and make it in the stove and it epically failed. So I'm gonna try and make it in the microwave. But essentially I've got some eggs, some kangaroo sausages, some kangaroo, oh, look how nice and bright that looks. Got some kangaroo steaks there. Got some veggies and then some spudlight potato. I'm going to attempt to cut a pumpkin, but I may lose an arm. All right, look at that beautiful pumpkin. I'm a massive fan of pumpkin because it's super low calorie, so you can get a massive bang for your buck. It's very high in micronutrients as well. So it only has around 7 grams of carbs per 100 grams, but it's also quite high in, I think, vitamin K. So I made some cream of rice, but it was an epic fail.
Why would you make it on the stove? Are you fucking retarded? Yuck.
It's so lumpy.
Why would you do that? There's a proven method to... Why would you pre-make cream of rice? That is a terrible idea.
I just tried it out.
I mean, I guess now you know. But...
I'm just going to stir it some more.
It's going to be so claggy.
In terms of...
Ugh.
Ew, there's a worm in it.
Where?
I'm just kidding. In terms of fruit, we eat a lot of bananas and citrus fruits and pineapple over here. Obviously, most of the time, if I'm being honest, this bowl is empty. These are some grapefruits I bought.
Yeah, because I've eaten all the fucking fruit. It's not like we don't ever have fruit.
Yeah. But if you're a gym goer, you want fruits that are high in potassium as well. They're going to help with muscle contractions. Now, in terms of pre-workout nutrition, typically you want to wait around 60 to 90 minutes before the gym with your food. So if you're especially combining a high-fat, high-fiber meal right before the gym, these are two very slow digesting things and you are going to feel sick while you train. So it's really important to be like strategic around your meals if you want to optimize performance in the gym. So typically you want to go for carbohydrates that are easy to digest, something like rice or potatoes or even like bread is fine. Sourdough is probably a little bit better for the gut. Weenie. Now, typically what I'll do in the evening is I'll get some Greek yogurt, so some chobani, and I will add some berries into it, stir it up, and then add some protein powder and some sultanas. And as of lately, it's been some mini marshmallows as well and some hazelnuts, but it tastes so good. And it's like kind of a slow digesting casein dessert that's really delicious. So that is everything. Really excited for tomorrow's training session. But yeah, the key is like preparing your weeks for success. I don't eat like this all the time. Like this is probably about 80% of my diet and it forms the base of it. But it feels a lot better to be prepared. And at least then if you have, a shit day, you can reach for meals that are already made that are going to serve you